Got it.
But I thought the market will boom once again.
Right. Understandable. Okay. Let's clear your doubt on Bharti Airtel. Narendra Vinod from Hyderabad currently holds 100 shares of Bharti Airtel at 1,837. The stock has dipped to around 1,808 rupees and was about flat in trade today with marginal cuts of about 0.5% around closing. Now, the main problem with the stock is that it has seen quite a bit of pain, especially surrounding the recent news where the Supreme Court of India as well as the government are typically not in favor of telecom giants like Bharti Airtel and Vodafone coming out and asking for some kind of waiver to their AGR dues that they owe to the government. Now, with this news coming in, do you see any long-term impact for Bharti Airtel as a telecom company?
We have a positive view on the stock. Also, if you look at the overall AGR situation, so this disappointment has been there for the overall sector from past few years. So I think largely the markets have already pricing this AGR due situation. However, from another angle, if you look at the performance of the company, the results were very good for FY25 for the company, and the ARPUs also stood at around 245, and the capex intensity is also going to go lower from this year onwards because they have already incurred huge capex. So I think the positive is ahead for the company, and the stock is also one of the strongest stocks you see in the recent 6 to 1 year. So this is one of the strongest stock wherein you see a lot of stocks have shown a good amount of drawdown, but this stock has refused to go down significantly. So I think the sector is anyways is very good, and the company is also performing very well. So it should not worry much about the short term, and it's a good stock to hold for medium to long term. We have currently a target of around 2,100 rupees on this stock.
Okay, so that's a hold on Bharti Airtel, and with that we are joined by a caller from Noida. Hi Amol, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, how can I help you today?
Yeah, actually I bought Astral at around 1381.
Okay.
And I have around 30 shares.
Yeah.
So I need a short-term view on this stock.
Okay, but for how long? 5 months, 3 months, 6 months?
Yeah, maybe 1 month around.
Okay. Okay. So, Sundar, currently trading at 1365 and he bought it at 1381. And he's planning to hold it for a very short time, for just 1 month. So, what's your sense on the counter? How is it faring on the charts?
So Himanshi, first of all, I like to tell that the stock is positive on charts, right? Now, if you see a broader picture about the stock was into sideways range from midweek of February till date, and in yesterday's trading session, the stock has given a breakout above this level. Now, today's selling pressure has come, but again, a breakout followed by a retest could be a good opportunity to buy. So I would say that the stock look positive to me. And apart from this, if I talk about the technical indicators over here. So the short term at the mid-term moving average, that is 20 and 50, it is currently showing me that the stock has still potential to go up till its 200-day moving average, which is placed at around 16 or 45 levels. So I would recommend him to hold this stock. And apart from this, one more indicator, that is MACD, is showing me positiveness. So there is no valid reason to say that you should exit this stock. It is a good it is a good counter. And if the viewer wants to place the stop loss, then yes, the stop loss should be placed below the recent low, which is placed at around 1245.
So thank you so much for that, Sundar Kevat. And now we are being joined by Sudarshan from Hyderabad again. Hi, Sudarshan. Good evening. Sudarshan.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Madam.
Yes, please go ahead with your question, sir.
I bought Jindal building at 630, madam, 200 shares.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
For
go ahead.
Shall I wait or?
Okay, no issues. So, Sudarshan from Hyderabad currently holds 200 shares of Jindal Drilling at 630 rupees a piece, and he is asking whether he should wait on this or what should his further course of action be. Now, Jindal Drilling, as we can see clearly, has seen some kind of cut intraday as well, and has also been constantly volatile. In fact, from November of 2024, although it has had on an average 2 bouts of recovery, but has been a really volatile stock. Therefore, Narendra, I'd like to come to you on this one. How does the fundamental story of this company look like, and is it worth staying put in Sudarshan's investment or not?
Yeah. See, again, disclaimer, we do not have any coverage on the stock, so we do not have any view per se. But I think it's a small stock and it's operating in a very niche segment. So these kind of volatilities may persist for the stock because it's a niche area of where we provide offshore drilling services. Plus, it's a very lumpy kind of a business where in a few quarters or few years you get a good business and then you have a few quarters of lean period because of the order booking kind of a situation in this. So I think there are a lot of opportunities in other areas wherein you can switch and have a decent return.
Understood. Thanks for that view. With that, let's go across to a caller joining us from Mohali. Hi, Rahul. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I have a query regarding CDSL.
Okay.
I'm looking for a long-term view on this stock.
Okay.
And wanted your expert advice. Is
Yeah.
it the right time for invest stock, or should I wait for more correction?
Understood. Understood. So, for the correct levels to enter, Sundar, I'd like to come to you. Currently it's trading at 1449. So for somebody who's a new investor who wants to invest in this counter, are these the correct levels to enter?
Yeah, so Himanshi, referring to the daily time frame of the stock has given a close above its 200-day moving average, and I could see that the today's session it was just a retest for 200-day moving average. So if the viewer wants to add this stock, then yes, he could add about today's high that was placed at around 1488. So I could see that if the stock crosses above this level, then it could blast all the cylinders, and I will not be surprised, Himanshi, to see the stock trading at around 1980 levels in coming months, because this is a clear sign of a reversal. I mean, it is really a strong structure formation in CDSL.
Right. And also, on the fundamental aspect of it, since he's planning to hold the counter for long term, Narendra, I'd like to come to you. How do you see CDSL? How is it positioned itself as compared to its peers in terms of valuations as well? Because, it's currently trading at high PE ratio.
Yeah, definitely the valuations are not cheap still. Also, we do not have any active rating on the stock. However, if you see the overall business in which the company operates, so it's a unique business, and I think it would be the current demat additions have been very healthy last year, and since the market has been in a correction mode lately, so that has impacted somewhat in the near term. However, the medium to long term looks very promising, and even the NSDL, the competitor, if you track it, so it is very small in comparison with CDSL. So CDSL is one of the leading companies. So definitely medium to long term looks good for both these players right now. And even the talks are being there for NSDL coming to the IPO, so that could also provide some medium term tailwinds to the sector as well.
Okay, understood. And viewers, a quick note to you, you can definitely continue to send in your queries on the WhatsApp numbers, but also call in, as we're currently live and our experts are here to give you the best investment advice. So we do urge you to pick up that phone and call us right away. I will take up another WhatsApp query in the meantime. Ravi from Odisha has written to us asking your fundamental view on IndusInd Bank, Narendra, and very interesting with regards to what's happening with IndusInd. It's not just the story of a bank, but the story that has run for a couple of months around this particular entity, where accounting discrepancies with regards to its derivatives portfolio, top level managements changing in the bank, and a lot of these negative news flow has also sort of shaken confidence and investor sentiment. And plus NDTV Profit also reported this morning that the analyst call that might happen tomorrow is also going to dominate on this subject. Plus it could also dampen or shadow the upcoming results that IndusInd would announce very shortly. Therefore, very simply asking you, Narendra, with regards to whatever has happened, and maybe IndusInd Bank does have a better future with the management changing, but is it a good idea to right now invest?
Yeah, first of all, disclaimer, we have been covering this stock, but lately after the negative news and after the volatility and the lack of information in the public, we have kept it under review. Having said that, I think if you see overall history, this negative surprises have been there for this particular bank even 2 3 years back as well. So I think this does not bode so well for from the long-term perspective of for the company. And looking at the current scenario, I think post the derivative news, I think we have another second news which has come out subsequently within a single quarter. So I think again this does not bode well for the medium to long term of the company. Also, if you look at from a tactical perspective, the bank is part of Nifty 50 and Sensex, and even at the market cap of 60,000 crore, I think it does not fall under top 150 companies in terms of market cap. So I think in near future, if this bank goes out of the leading indices, so from that perspective also, the ETFs might also have to sell out their positions who tracks these broader indices. So I think medium term is very uncertain for the stock, and there are very good opportunities in the current market as well. So you can definitely move out of this stock and look for good other opportunities which are available.
Okay, thanks for that view. With that, we are joined by a caller from Kurnool. Hi, Mansingh. Good evening.
Hi, madam. Good evening, madam.
Yeah, how can I help you today?
I am holding NHPC shares, madam.
Okay.
1,000 shares, average price 79 rupees, madam.
Okay.
And today, it will the Q4, madam. How is the Q4 earnings? And I want to know fundamental and technical view. And should I add more shares at the current level?
Okay.
Or none?
Understood, understood. And if you're holding it for long term, so how long is your time horizon?
I can hold 2 to 3 years, madam.
2 to 3 years, understood. So, Narendra, talking about NHPC's, fundamental performance, currently trading at 86 and was also down in trade today over 2%. But having said that, in the power space, is it like the best counter you think, which is, doing fundamentally well, or do you have another picks in the similar space?
Yeah, so definitely NHPC, we do not have any active coverage. But looking at the power sector, I think we are very much positive on the power sector. If you see the overall demand for the sector, which is expected to grow around 6 to 7% annually, which is a very good, which is a very good growth for this sector. And lot of various projects are lined up in which the capacity addition is also having. So I think overall the sector is decent in terms of growth, but we do not have any active recommendation on the stock.
Okay, and Sundar, I'd like to come to you. As far as I can see it on the charts, after seeing a very sharp fall on 9th of May, the stock is now recovering and consolidating. So, currently it's trading at 86. So, are these the elevated levels, or these are the correct levels to enter and for Mansingh to accumulate more?
So, Himanshi, first of all, the structure doesn't look that attractive to me. If you see the 23rd April high, and if you match it with the previous day high, it is somewhere around seeing that the stock is accepting the resistance at that level. So I could see that, the bears can pull the stock down. So I would not be, very much interested in going long on this stock. And I should see that if the viewer wants to add the stock, then the support level for the stock is at 81 or 82 levels, where the major support lies. At that level, the viewer can add. But apart from this, looking at the action, I could, judge that the stock is not, very much interested, and it is not very much attractive to me as well. So.
Okay. So not attractive is what Sundar Kevat's view on NHPC is. And now we're being joined by Kiran from Hyderabad. Hi, Kiran. Good evening.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Please go ahead with your question, Kiran.
So I have 300 shares of Power Grid Corporation at the average price of 96.
Okay.
So I bought this stock around 1 month ago, but it's not moving from last 1 month. At the same time, the quarterly results are also not up to the market. So I can hold it for 2 to 3 years, but I want to know the fundamental and technical perspective.
Okay, fair enough, Kiran. Narendra, I'll come to you on this one. Kiran from Hyderabad currently holds 300 shares of Power Grid at 296 rupees a piece. The stock is trading around 296 even now, although it might have had its own up and down in between the 1 month that he has held them for so far, but it is again trading at the same levels that he bought at. And this has been the trend not only in the past 1 month with regards to how Power Grid has performed, but in the last 52 weeks, if you would average it out, it has not moved above the 400 level at all. In fact, it has been range bound between 300 or 365 or so to say. Why should it be a good idea for Kiran to continue holding his shares of Power Grid, irrespective of whether you have coverage on this or not?
First of all, as I told you, from both power producers' point of view as well as distribution point of view, Power Grid is a just sitting in between the power producers and consumers, and the whole infrastructure. If we talk about the distribution infrastructure, so as and when the demands improve, the distribution infrastructure also needs to be improved. So as the 6 to 7% kind of growth is also expected for this sector, and to add the inflation part 4 to 5%, then I think 11 to 12% kind of growth would be very easy for the company to post over a period of 4 to 5 years. I think, however, having said that, I think this is the kind of a sector wherein a lot of revenues comes from order books, etc. So these kind of sector shows some kind of a lumpiness because of some execution delays or because of some approval delays. So I think it would not be better to see on a very short-term horizon on a quarter-on-quarter basis, but rather I think looking at on a yearly basis or at least on a review it at least on a 6 monthly basis would be a much better strategy for these kind of stocks, especially in these sectors where the order book situations and the lumpiness of the execution impacts the overall performance of the company. But medium to long term remains healthy for the company.
Indra, I just want to follow up on this, right? When it comes to capex heavy industries such as power or defense or you name it, there is definitely the question of how much order book the company has and what its execution capacity is. And therefore, sometimes a lag in between the two reflects on the stock price or the dip or the dampening of the sentiment around it. Usually, it's a consequence of how execution happens. When somebody is investing in a capex heavy industry or a stock per se, what should they look at? Because viewers definitely look at maybe the valuation or the order books. So what should we look at when it comes to Power Grid also?
Definitely, order book is one of the critical aspect to look at it. Plus, if you can calculate a ratio which is order book to sales ratio, so you can pretty much arrive at a number wherein you can say that okay, for example, Power Grid is having an order book of 41,000 crores, okay, and then it's having a sales of let's say 10,000 crores, so it has a order book to sales of 4. So likewise, you have to calculate the order book to sales, which will give you a ballpark number of the orders already in hand for the company for that number of years. So this is the first step, and then the second comes the execution aspect. So to gauge as execution, you have to study the overall history of the company, how well the management is poised, and how well the balance sheet strength is there for the company in order to execute efficiently. Apart from that, you also have to see the kind of space the company is involved, whether there are third-party issues are also involved, like land acquisition in the case of Power Grid, environmental clearances, various approvals from the government agencies. So you also have to track all these aspects for all these stocks in order to arrive at a some kind of a judgment whether it is positive or negative. However, but definitely you have to keep in mind that these These stocks have a lumpy, these are lumpy in nature because of the ordering activity doesn't happen each month or each
Yes, Narendra.
quarter. It happens on a project basis. So accordingly, you have to have a view of at least 3 to 5 years before investing into them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for explaining that to our viewers so nicely, Narendra. And with that, viewers, we'll have to slip into a short break, but please keep sending in your queries on WhatsApp and call in. We'll be right back for Ask Profit. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit, and I'm your host Himakshi Bhogna. Along with me is my co-host Malika Mishra, and together we'll be taking up all your stock-related queries. So, and on the show we are joined by Narendra Solanki on the fundamentals and Sundar Kewat on the technicals, and they will be taking up all your stock-related queries, viewers. So please, this is your chance to get all your stock-related queries answered. Pick up your phones and call us right away. We are waiting for your calls. And with that, let's go across to a caller joining us from Coimbatore. Hi, Keshav. Good evening.
Hi, thanks for the call.
Yeah, please go ahead with your query.
Regarding this, Canara Bank,
Yeah.
I'm holding around 5672 shares.
Okay.
Average price is 108.22.
Yeah.
So I would like to know the, the plan for, my plan is for short term.
Mm-hmm.
So
For how
I'd
long?
like to see the, check from just 4 months or 4 5 months.
Okay, 4 to
Right.
5 months. Understood. So, Sundar, I'll come to you on this because he's looking for a very short period outlook, on the counter. And, since Canara Bank has posted its Q4 results, I can see the stock is in its upward trend. So, what do you have to say? Are you seeing more, uptick in the counter for 4 months to continue?
Himanshi, you rightly said, if you see the bottom was made at around 28 February, and then from there itself the stock is creating a higher high pattern. Now, from 21st April to 9th May, the stock was into a congestion zone, and I could see that there is a kind of flagpole pattern which is formed on daily time frame, and the stock has given a breakout of that pattern. So I would not be surprised, Himanshi, to see the stock price sitting at 120 levels in coming few months. And apart from this, Himanshi, if the viewer wants to place the stop loss, then the stop loss should be placed at around 95 level where the 200 DMA and 20 DMA ka crossover is there. So I would say that this is a good counter to watch and remain invested in the stock.
Understood. And Narendra, I'd also like to come to you, talking about the banking space in particular. And Canara Bank is a strong, company when it comes to the fundamental performance. So, firstly, what's your view on Canara Bank? And secondly, in the banking space, what are your top 2 to 3 picks?
Yeah, definitely. Banking space is one of the sector which we are positive on medium to long term basis. And in banking space, I think we have to bifurcate into private banks and public sector banks. Right now, I think in private, if you see overall space, there has been a very intense competition in terms to gather deposits. So a lot of banks are offering deposits at a competitive rate, especially the private banks. Hence, the cost of funds are expected to increase in recent in near term. That is one of the reasons for underperformance of private banks. I think here the public sector banks have an upper hand in comparison with private banks in near term. So right now we are more positive on public sector banks. Now coming to the Canara Bank, if you see the results, the Q2 results, the top line was very good, but I think the slippages and the write-offs have increased this quarter. So that has been a drag on the performance of the bank's profitability. And overall, we prefer large public sector banks like SBI is one of our top picks. And in private banks, if you ask me, so Axis Bank is our another top pick. Axis Bank and ICICI Bank in the private space, and SBI in the public sector space.
Okay, understood. And now we're being joined by Varshit from Mysuru on the phone line. Hi, Varshit. Good evening.
Hi, ma'am.
Please go ahead with your question, Varshit.
Kalyan Jewelers 200 quantity.
Okay.
Average price 520. Profit in 5,000. Seller world, ma'am. Technical analysis, ma'am.
Okay, and Varshit, before we give you a technical analysis of Kalyan Jewellers, I'd simply like to understand, why did you purchase these 200 shares? Varshit, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, Varshit. Why did you purchase these 200 shares of Kalyan Jewellers, Varshit?
200 quantity.
Okay, never
average
mind.
price of 520.
Okay.
9 months short term, ma'am.
Okay, understood. Okay. I will take this query to Sundar Kevat because Varshit has specifically asked for a technical analysis of Kalyan Jewellers. Sundar, how does the stock look like to you? Kalyan Jewellers, he currently holds 200 shares at 520 rupees.
So, Malika, on day time frame, the stock is into a purely sideways kind of range, and I could see that the resistance for the stock is placed at around 590. Plus, there is also an important resistance, that is 200 day moving average, which is placed at around you can say 600 level. So I could see that the stock will shiver at this level. So it is good to book profit at around 591. And if the viewer wants to add the stock after that, then he can add on the dips, because yes, looking at the stock, I mean, looking at the structure of the stock, if he adds at around say 490, 495 level, then there could be a good opportunity to this level. So I could see that, if the stock price crosses above this level, that is at around 600, so I could see that the stock will face some shiver. So, caution should be on plate for this stock.
Okay, thanks for that view, Sundar Kevat. Now, let's go across to a caller joining us from Hyderabad. Hi, Raj. Good evening.
Yeah, hello. A very good evening. This
Good
is Raj from Hyderabad.
Yes, please go ahead with the query, Raj.
Yeah, my query is regarding Enviro Infra Engineering Limited. It's been like around 5 months I bought it, and the average price is around 290.
Yeah.
I have around 600 stocks.
Okay.
So yeah, my query is, should I hold it or should I add? Now it's currently at 210, I think so. So should I average it or should I sell it? It's been like 5 months. I cannot see any change over there.
Yeah. And Raj, are you a long-term investor or a short-term investor?
Yeah, actually, initially I have a view of 1 year.
Okay.
It's been already 6 months, so I can hold for 6 more months.
Okay. So,
and the quarterly results are, sorry for the interruption, the quarterly results are running, right? So, expect the results about the company.
Absolutely. So, we will be posting the results as and when they come. But talking about Enviro Infra's technical performance, Sundar, he bought it at 293 and currently it has dropped down to 210. Firstly, do you think that he bought it at elevated levels, and what should he be doing with the counter for like 6 months from now?
Himanshi, back to basics. If the stock is into sideways, then you should not invest or you should not trade. Daily time frame of the stock is clearly into a sideways range. The range is from 230 to 207 levels. So I don't think so that there is any trade as of now for this stock. But Himanshi, if the stock prices cross about 230 to 235 levels, then I could see that the stock could outperform the market, and we could expect higher targets till 290 levels. And apart from this is, I mean, at current market price, this is not a good stock to buy because again, very, very sideways range.
Understood. And Narendra, I'd also like to understand the fundamentals of Enviro Infra Engineers. And for somebody who has invested in this counter, what suggestion do you have for them?
Yeah, first of all, disclaimer that we do not have active coverage on the stock, so we do not have any recommendation per se. But coming to the sectoral, I think this company is into water supply segment, infrastructure segment. So the sector tailwinds are definitely there. And if you see, the government is pushing towards uh, water supplying and sewage projects, and government has a lot of capex program running in different cities and urban areas wherein the government is setting up sewage treatment plants, and you might have also have seen the river cleaning project is also happening parallelly. So there is a lot of scope and capex going on in the sector. I think we have another stock under our coverage which is related to the similar segment, which is EMS Limited. So I think that has we can switch to that stock, and its performance is also going to perform very well, and we have a target of around 1100 rupees for the stock.
Okay, okay. That's the view on Enviro Infra Engineers, and now we're being joined by Raju from Andhra Pradesh. A lot of calls from Andhra Pradesh today, I must say. Hi Raju, good evening.
Good evening.
Please go ahead with your question, Raju.
My query is regarding Electrosteel casting.
Okay.
I own 450 shares at an average price of 112 rupees.
Okay.
I want to know the long-term outlook on this counter. Is it a good stock to hold in the portfolio for long term?
Understood. And when exactly did you purchase these shares?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, okay. Narendra, since Raju from Andhra Pradesh, firstly, he holds 450 shares of Electrosteel casting at 112 rupees a piece. He's seeking a long-term advice on this one. Now, the stock has plummeted quite significantly since September of 2024. But on the other hand, it also has one of the least PE ratios as compared to its peers. Does this look to you as an attractive stock from the space it comes from a long-term perspective or not?
I think overall, if you see the performance of the stock on a medium to long term basis, it has been decent. I think, but because of the kind of space in which it operates, again, it's an order book driven company, and also the products which it is catering to are more related to water projects. The products is offered. So that has been more government capex related segment, and I think because of that, some underperformance is there. But I think the overall sectoral tailwinds are definitely there. The capex from the government side is definitely pushing the sector in terms of overall growth. So, but I think he has to have patience in order to see the same flow towards the company. So I think the holding period should be longer, between 1 to 3 years. And then only I think the performance could be there.
Thank you so much for that view. Let's go across to a caller joining us from Hyderabad now. Hi Surya, good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, Surya, please go ahead with your query.
Yeah, I would like to know about Bondada engineering. So
Okay.
I want to know about the fundamentals and technical. Is it the right time to enter into this stock?
Okay, and are you a long-term investor?
Yes, I am a long-term investor.
Okay, okay. So Narendra, coming to you, currently it's trading at 393, but if I look at the valuation, then it's pretty high as compared to its peers. So what's your outlook on the counter, and how do you view this as a long-term, from a long-term perspective?
First of all, I would like to give a disclaimer that we do not have active coverage, hence we do not have any recommendation. The company is majorly operating into telecom infrastructure segment, and I think just released details by the Bharti Airtel, where we have seen that the capex has gradually coming down, is coming down in overall telecom space by the telecom operators. And this year we do not see the kind of capex intensity which we have seen in last year or two from the large players. And I think only two major players are there in the country. So one of them has clearly said the CapEx intensity would definitely be lower in this year than previous years. So I think there is some kind of slowness coming down in overall CapEx, and hence I think we have to remain watchful for the service providers uh, in this segment. So I think you have to remain watchful and closely monitor the earnings of the company.
Okay, closely watch the earnings of Bondada Engineering to stay invested or to invest. And now we have I'm so sorry. We have Rajesh calling in from Bengaluru. Hi Rajesh, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Please go ahead with your question, Rajesh.
Hi, I'm looking for long-term logistics.
Okay.
I bought 150 shares of Mahindra Logistics at 305 rupees.
Okay.
And I'm looking for long-term perspective. What is the perspective of this company?
Okay, sure. Sundar, let me direct this question to you. Rajesh from Bengaluru currently holds 150 shares of Mahindra Logistics at 305 rupees a piece. The stock is trading around 323. It has climbed about 20 rupees or thereabouts from his buying price. However, the movement of the stock is a little disturbing, especially from September of 2024, where it hasn't done much, and in fact it has only significantly taken the down road. How does the stock look like to you from a long-term perspective, and would it be a good idea to also accumulate more?
Yeah, Malika rightly said. If I look at the daily time frame of the stock has corrected from 550 levels to 240 odd levels, and I could see that from Feb end the stock has given a positive return. And if you see the previous day candle, I could see that there is a kind of you can say inverted hammer, or you can say a kind of indecisive candle which is formed on this chart. So I could see that. mm, I mean, this is a classic example of a stock expecting a resistance at around 340 level, because if you see on 27 January 25, the stock was halting at this level. So, and today also the stock has struggled to break out above this level. So I would not be interested in going long at this price. But yes, if the viewer wants to accumulate this stock, then yes, the stock should be accumulated above 350 level, because at that level there could be a good resistance breakout. So other than this, I'm more interested in this stock.
Okay, thanks for that view, Sundar Kevat. Now we are joined by a caller from Chennai. Hi, Vishwanathan. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, how can I help you on the show today?
I want to know about the Bank of Baroda, and what about Nila Infra?
Okay, Bank of Baroda. I think we'll stick to Bank of Baroda for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you please tell me how many shares do you hold in the counter?
Now 1,000 at 247.
Okay, and are you looking for a long-term view or a short-term view?
No, only for short term.
Okay, for how long?
For 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months view on Bank of Baroda. A lot of technical queries on the show today. So Sundar, again coming to you, currently it's trading at 236. He bought it at 247. So firstly, do you see it reaching the similar levels, and in the next 2 to 3 months, do you see Mr. Vishwanathan making any sort of profits with the counter?
Yeah, Himanshi, I could see that Mr. Vishwanathan is making a kind of profit at around 2 to 3 months time horizon. Now, why this is because if you see, the stock has given an upward momentum from 4th March, and it has risen sharply. Now, the correction from 23rd April, it has come, and it is a kind of normal profit booking, I could say. And if I draw Fibonacci level that trend, I could see that there is a strong support which is hold at around 0.68 level. So, I would not be surprised, Himanshi, that the stock should be trading at around 280 levels because there is an Fibonacci extension target to it. So yes, this is a good counter to watch out.
To watch out for, and now we're being joined by Chandu from Hyderabad. Oh my God, so many callers from Hyderabad. Hi, Chandu.
Hi, good evening.
Please go ahead with your question.
My question related to KPIT.
Okay.
So how 100 shares actually at average price of 1620.
Okay, 1 second. You hold 1,000 shares of KPIT Tech at 1620 rupees. Is that true?
Average, yes, correct.
Okay, okay. And what's the question?
The question is, I have a long-term view on this, but I want to know the long-term view on short-term view. Yeah, so that's what I want to know actually.
Okay, okay, understood.
And again, I need to average it or now, or I want to know.
Okay, and since when have you been holding these shares of KPIT Tech?
I'm just adding the quantity last year, June onwards.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. Narendra, our viewer from Hyderabad currently holds 1,000 shares of KPIT Tech at 1620 rupees, and the stock price has fallen about 300 odd levels. It is trading around 1,317 rupees a piece. This is from his buying price, of course. He has a long-term eye on this one, but how does the fundamental story of KPIT Tech look like, especially when it has fallen drastically in the recent past?
Yeah, definitely IT has been not performing very well since the Trump came and and the tariff situation and the volatility induced because of tariffs uncertainty as well. And hence, the lot of companies in the sector have shied away from giving any concrete or strong guidance for the current year as well. Having said that, if you see KPIT, it is majorly a engineering R&D player and provides its technological services in the auto OEM players, and it has a very high exposure in Europe. So the company is already aware of this, and it is also diversifying into Japan and also tying up with the various Chinese OEM players in order to diversify away from its exposure in the developed markets, especially in the West. So structurally, we are positive on the KPIT for the medium to long term, and the company is also trying to diversify its exposure away from a single entity or continent to different various regions, including Asia Pacific as well. So I think medium to long term, the company would be successful in diversifying into Japan and China and other Asian markets, and would continue to perform well. So medium to long term, we are positive, and we can continue to hold the stock.
So our experts are positive on KPIT Tech for mid and long term. And with that, we are joined by a caller from Nellore. Hi, Teja. Good evening.
Hi, madam.
Yes. How can I help you today on the show?
Madam, I want to invest 1 lakh rupees in a standard glass lining share.
Understood.
Can I enter at current levels?
Yeah. And are you a long-term investor, Teja?
Yes, madam. I am looking for some 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years. Okay. So, Narendra, without wasting much time, I directly come to you. How are the fundamentals of standard glass looking like? Because if I look at the valuation, it's pretty, highly valuated in as compared to its peers. So, what's your sense on the counter?
Yeah, again, we do not have any active coverage on the stock, so won't be able to give any recommendation on the stock.
Absolutely fine. Sundar, if you could just quickly tell us if, these are the correct levels to enter the stock. It's currently trading at 175.
Yeah, so Himanshi, if you see the stock has broken its important resistance of 162, and I could see that there is a strong upside rally from that level. But what? If the stock price dips at 162 level, that will be a good level to watch out, because if the viewer enters at this level, then the risk to reward ratio will not be favorable for him. So I would suggest that a dip at around 160 or 165 level could be a good entry point for this stock, and the target for the stock should be expected around 200 levels where the recent resistance is placed. So overall, the stock structure look positive to me on 1 day time frame.
Okay. And very fatafat, we have another WhatsApp query. Ajay from Baroda has written to us asking his, asking his query about IRFC. He currently holds 10,000 shares at 75 rupees a piece, and he's asking whether or not he could hold his positions. Now, Indian Railway Finance Corporation is trading around 137 odd levels, and therefore, Sundar, I would like to come to you on this one. The stock is currently trading with a negative bias, swinging more towards its 52-week low. When do you see that recovery happen on the charts, and is it a good idea to stay invested with 10,000 shares in IRFC?
I would like to say that this is a kind of conditional stock wherein, in technical perspective, if you see the stock has given a breakout of its important resistance at 136, and now in today's session, the stock has faced a selling pressure. So this kind of selling pressure is very much common if a stock breakout about a resistance. But yes, if the stock crosses above 143 where the recent fresh highs are made, then I would not be surprised, Malika, to see the stock price trading at 155 levels.
Okay, thanks for that view, and we're going to quickly take more callers. One is calling us from Guntur. Hi Siddharth, good evening.
Very good evening, madam.
Yeah, please go ahead with your query.
I have a purpose of 50K, madam.
Sorry?
So, I am ready to invest 50,000, madam.
Okay.
So, I choose power sector.
Okay.
I want to know whether choose CG Power and Adani Power, which is the best.
Understood.
Which is, yes, madam.
And are you looking for a long-term view on the counter?
Yes, madam, long-term, madam.
Okay.
1 to 2 years.
So, Narendra, we've already spoken about the power space in particular, but, if one has to pick between CG Power and Adani Power, so what's your suggestion?
I think I would pick CG Power, and the reason is CG Power not only provides you exposure into the power sector, but also it is diversifying itself into a new business, which is a OSAT facility into the electronic manufacturing segment. So this facility would also come up and would add to the revenue. So you not only have an option of exposure into the power sector, but also electronic manufacturing sector, which is a very upcoming sector, and there is huge scope of in-house demand for these sectors. Hence, the medium to long term looks very good for the company. So my choice would be CG Power.
Okay, got it. And now we have another caller joining us on the phone line from Bengaluru. Hi, can you hear me? Hello? Pakshal, can you hear me? Okay, there seems to be a weak connection over there, but Pakshal from Bengaluru had attempted to call us asking about his 15 shares in PI Industries, which he had bought at an average price of 4,300 rupees. I'd like to take a long-term perspective on this one because he was seeking that. Narendra, how does PI Industries look to you, especially when it reported 11% decline in its profit in Q4?
Yeah, definitely. The results were 11% down, but I think the overall guidance was good. Also, if you look at from the medium perspective, the company is expected to show good pickup, I think, Kharif, and I think the monsoon is also expected to be very good. So the overall demand from the product should be strong. And also in horticulture and biological categories, also we see strong demand and demand to pick up going ahead. So for a medium to long term perspective, we can continue to hold the stock.
Okay. And with that, Narendra and Sundar, thank you so much for joining us in this edition of Ask Profit. And viewers, a quick note to you, you can continue to write us on the WhatsApp numbers available to you. We're live with Ask Profit both in the morning as well as in the evening. But before we cut to this very short break, do stay tuned as we have Profit 360, a freshly packed bulletin for you with Sanjana Chauhan. And Sanjana Chauhan joining me right in. Over to you, Sanjana.
Thanks, Himakshi. Thanks, Malika. And a wonderful bulletin with Ask Profit. And I'm sure you've addressed a lot of the callers' questions and queries. But I'll catch you on the other side of Profit 360, where we're going to be covering an investigation launched by Zepto into worker unions' concerns. And of course, we're seeing flooding and waterlogging in several areas in Assam, and also seeing some of that in Karnataka. But more on that on the other side of this very short break.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Benchmark equity indices plunged sharply. The BSE Sensex fell 872.98 points, barring Tata Steel, Infosys and TCS. All the other constituent stocks of Sensex end in the red. IDFC First Bank in talks with domestic institutional investors to allay any concerns over the appointment of a non-retiring director from Warburg Pincus on their board. And in a bid to make IDBI Bank acquisition offer more attractive, sources say Emirates NBD has decided to deploy a wholly owned subsidiary in India. Zepto launches a probe into workers' union allegations that their recruitment agencies under the Rural Mobilization Program allegedly deceive and exploit migrant workers over compensation, food and living conditions.